Hello and welcome to another episode of Coloring with Lisa and Extreme Coloring. And now I think I came up with a name that I like. It's called Floramania because I just love coloring flowers. But I also like doing other things, whether it be a house or a person or a scenery or whatever. But lately I've just been kind of into flowers, so I'm going to show you here different ways to color dahlias. And what I did is, as you guys know, if you follow me, I have a way of coming up with my colors, and I use these little color, it's like a color journal. And I used to do them like this, you know, like whenever I would find a color that I liked, I would put it in a book like this, and I would just, write, if I liked a color like this, for example, I would make a little swatch of it and write down what I used, that kind of a thing. And I've been doing this for years, and I love having this, because if I get stuck or something, I could say, oh yeah, I kind of maybe want to do a flower like that. What did I use again for that? And then the recipe is right here. So what I've been doing lately is I'm working on a book, and it's going to have all kinds of pictures of not all kinds of pictures, but a whole collection of these color combinations, like little recipes, if you will, right? And what I'm going to do is, this is another picture I'm working for my book, but they're all here, and I'm just so not organized today at all. Okay, so anyways, you got the idea. Hey, these are color combinations, and these are available on my Etsy store, and I'll put a link to these on the bottom of this video. But anyway, so I'm working on that, so just, keep following me, and I will keep producing those. But now also, I also put some blank ones on here, so like if you're watching a video or you come up with your own combination, you could just fill these out, and then, you'll have your own little personal little color recipe book. All right, so what I want to do today on this video is I'm going to color a dahlia. Now dahlias you'll find are they're everywhere really in coloring books. This is a very popular flower, and there's so many ways you can do it in so many different colors. So what I thought I'd do is show you a couple different ways how to do them, and the shadings and colors and formulas and things like that. So today we're just going to do one, and then I'll do another video on a different one, because I don't want the videos to get so long. Okay, so for this one here, I decided I think I'm going to go with this kind of a color scheme. And so we're going to need to pull out these colors, okay, which is 10170, which is a French gray. Then we're going to pull out 1052, which is a warm gray. Then grab your lavender, your gray lavender color, which is, mine's wiped out, but I think it's 1026, looks like. And then we're going to use this mulberry, which is 995, and Dahlia Purple, which is 1009. This should have been mulberry here instead of magenta, so I'm actually going to correct this for my little, because I'm gonna upload these as well for you guys. So I want it to be right. This is mulberry. Yeah, 995 is mulberry. I don't know what I was thinking there. So yeah, when you are doing something and you see a video and you like a little color recipe, just write it down in these little swatches, and then you can maybe poke 3 holes in them and keep them in a little binder even, that kind of a thing. But they're great to have. So, all right, so let's begin here. And I also like to dust with a little makeup brush instead of rubbing it, because if you rub it, it might smear your beautiful picture. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do now, there are different ways to do these flowers. You can have the dark starting from the inside and then lighter on the tips. You can have the darker, on the tips and lighter on the inside. You could do them in pinks and purples and blues and yellows and reds and all kinds of different colors. That's why these are so fun to do. So what I want to do right now is I think we're going to try doing this one with the shading the colors on the outside. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I want to start with the lightest one first, and well, the lightest kind of a shade. I think we're gonna do it with the grayed lavender. So what I want to do here, let's get in here a little bit, and the first thing that we should do when we're doing this is we want to give ourselves a little bit of a base, and you want to do it lightly because you can always go darker, okay? But you can always go darker, just remember that. But if you start off too dark, then you got to use an eraser to lighten it up, and it just becomes a big mess. So just put on lightly, and lightly just put on, I don't even know if you can see it there, that's how light it is. So you just have a nice light little base. And on this one here, I think I want to leave a lot of highlight. I want it to be like a light, kind of a wispy, purplish kind of a flower, kind of translucent-y a little bit. So you could see how light I put that, right? That was just really light, just such a pretty, nice little light effect there going. All right, now let's take this pretty little color here, which is the mulberry. And again, very lightly. And you know, when you're doing this, you just got to remember, you know, there's no rush. You're doing this for fun. I got to remember that too, because sometimes I find myself rushing, and that's not the goal of this, because, you know, you want to relax. That's part of the reason that we color, right? It's just to relax and enjoy and kind of have our time to ourselves, and put on some nice music, which by the way I need to put on, which I will, and just see, nice and lightly just put on the color, and then we're gonna build it up, okay? And so that's what we're gonna do here. See how I'm just building up the color, just building it up, and we want it to be darker at the tip, and then blend into nice and lightly into the petal. And remember, we can always come back later and darken it up or whatever, but just get your little base going so that you kind of know, you know, what you got going here. And there we go. Okay, and I think maybe what we should do is maybe just a hint of some color down here, just a little hint of some color. Okay, all right, so see, that's really good start, nice and pretty. Now let's darken it up a little bit with this Dahlia purple, and just on the tip a little bit. Just now, remember, like I said, we'll come back and add some, but I want to just kind of set the mood a little bit for this pretty little petal. Okay. Now the edges of these, you use the color on the side of it, kind of thing, to give it like a nice little outline, but not a harsh outline. You know what I mean? Kind of like a nice little blended outline. All right. See? So now you see how pretty it's starting to really come along. And then when you're having something like this where this petal is underneath. Now remember, this is not really a beginning video. This is more for advanced. But you want to know what though? If you could draw a line, you can do this. You could see what I'm doing, okay? You could totally do this. And the reason I'm putting this little line on this side is because it's like a shadow, because it's sitting underneath this, right? So since it's sitting underneath here, we want to just give an effect that it's a little bit of a shadow, so we have a little bit more of a 3D effect. Okay, and don't let any of the shading scare you or anything like that. Just have fun with it and just kind of think, okay, well this flower is laying underneath here, so let's just make a little bit of a shade. Okay, now look at it. So that was so simple, right? Just a very simple thing. And you're going to create a beautiful masterpiece. Now what we want to do is we're going to go in the little throat, which is closer to the base, and we want to just bring out some of this. This is the French gray, and just a little bit of gray in here. And you see I didn't fill this all in. I'm going to leave this a little highlighted for the white part, you know, just because we want as much highlight translucency as possible. And I'm just kind of going along that side where I had the purple, and then I'm going to use the French gray, kind of like a blender, very lightly, just blend the gray in here like so. All right, then also what we can do is we can grab a little a blending little stump, and you can also blend in with this little stump right here, and that kind of gives a nice soft look. And then I want to show you what it looks like if you do white. So if you take a white and you want to blend it with the white, then this is what you'll get with the white. Now you notice it took away some of that purple, the starkness of this dark purple up here, so don't go all the way up to the top where you'll lose that little nice sharp little edge. But see, the white gives it more of a real soft type of a feel to it. So all right, so I just wanted to show you some different little blending techniques too. That's the whole goal of this, is for me to teach you so that when you are coloring a piece, you could say, oh, okay, I remember this one, and I know how to do this now. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and do this entire flower the same way. Now there are different ways that you can do that, as far as like this is that warm gray. This is a little bit darker, by the way. Let's throw in a little bit of darker just right here in the bottom to give it a nice shadow. These colors go really good together because they kind of got the same kind of a hue to them. But you see how this is creating a nice little shadow in here, and if we want it to be a little deeper, you can just go in here like this. Okay, so now as far as how you want to proceed in coloring these, you can just do one petal at a time. If you want to just do one petal at a time and have your fun and just do the whole petal, or you can also just do like let's say you just do all the ends first maybe, and so you'll say, okay, well maybe I'll just do you know, just do all the tips first and then go back in and then do the shading here. And so since you have this color out, you may want to just go along and just do every single one of these first with your grays, with this light one, just to kind of lay in where your accentuations are going to be for the flower. Like for example, this part here's where I decided to make this a little bit darker. So maybe what we'll do is it's kind of like called maybe what's the word for it, like blocking it out, so that you could kind of know, okay, well this is where I'm going to want my colors at, and then in here where I didn't touch it, you could say, all right, this is where I want my highlight to go. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then that way you'll get a good idea of how we're gonna do these. Okay, so look, so we're just doing the tips, and that's really all we're kind of concentrating on is the tips, and we're gonna leaving the middles with the white with the highlight, and then we're gonna put some shading on the sides. So I'm gonna go around here and just do this on just to block out where I'm gonna be having the majority of my color. Okay, and I think put a little in here just for maybe a little bit darker. All right, and you just kind of vary you know, your shadings as far as to go lighter and darker, but for the most part just do the edges or the little tips of them here, and then we'll go back in and do more of the shading later. So just put in your nice little bases here. And so I'm just going to do this all the way around, and I will probably, I guess I'll speed it up. That's the thing though, you guys are going to be patient with me with these videos, because I kind of suck at them as far as the filming. It's so hard for me. It's like, it doesn't come, it's not as easy as it seems to make these videos, because you have to not only, you know, I got to worry about coloring and try to teach and figure this out, but I got to figure out, okay, where am I going to speed it? Where am I going to cut it? And then when I upload them, sometimes they don't upload right. Then I got to edit it, and it's just so much. So just kind of have patience with me. I'm trying my best to try to get these done for you, so I could you know, I really want to teach you, but I just having a hard time with the videos. Doing the best I can. Practice, just like coloring, right? Practice makes perfect. So hopefully I will get perfect at this. I don't know. So I'm just going to go through here. I'll probably just leave the camera on and just stop talking and just kind of speed it up, because you don't need to really watch me. Just fill in kind of these areas. Oh, I also wanted to tell you too, when you're doing these dahlias, you see how like here, don't like how I went over here, you don't want to really go all the way to the edges. Let me give you an example. Like, see how here, how's a little, and you can like leave this part white, you know. I'm just maybe come down even here a little bit to create like a little, almost like a groove, you know. See how that was like a little groove in the middle? So, okay. And I'm only going to do a little bit of a batch. I guess I call them a batch, right? It's a batch. It's a little batch. All right. So I'm going to just do these little couples. And then as soon as I get this little, it's a grouping. That's the word I was looking for. Just like a little grouping. So we're gonna just color in here, maybe make it a little darker in here, maybe. And just color it in. All right, and then now we're just gonna do the same thing here. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to take this other one here, which is the 995 with a mulberry color. And then now I'm going to just start kind of playing around here with the colors on the tips here to start giving it some life to these little babies. All right. Okay, let's put a little music on here so I can get in the mood. I gotta feel it, you know? That's what you gotta do when you're coloring, is just sort of, once you get in the groove of feeling the flower, I guess is the word, then it'll really come nicely. But when you're first starting, it takes just kind of a minute to get to know your flower, right? So that's what we're doing right now. It's just kind of just starting to give it its little character. Yeah, and when you want to get darker, you just push it a little harder. See? You just shade it lightly. Okay. And then when you get into this side here, you want to create a look like it's, you know, like a 3D effect. So don't go all the way to the edge of some of these, and leave just a little space between there with the white, so that it looks like it's you know, and then stick another, maybe this is the darker gray, and just give it a little maybe we'll put maybe a little bit darker down here. So see how I'm doing that little flicking, the way I do it, my little flicking motion, the way, you know me by now, it's my style. So I just, because instead of filling it full, I do it in little lines like this. That way it gives the flower a little bit more of a realistic feel to it with the lines, like little veins. Okay. And then you just, from here, you just sort of just continue to build and add your color and add your shadings, and that's really it. It's just a matter of being patient and layering the color in. Like I say, these flowers are in so many coloring books, so once you learn this technique, every time you see one, you're all, oh, I think I want to color that picture. And then you'll have your little arsenal of all the little recipes that you've learned from this video series. And you'll be able to make a masterpiece wall. Like, for example, the pictures usually come in 8.5 by 11 normally, or like a 10 by 10 is the standard kind, paper sizes. So you could get some cute little frames. Like, I love Ross. I shop at Ross, and you can have a whole little wall, like a wall, maybe in your hallway or somewhere like that, where you have a grouping of 5 or 6 of your really nice pictures, and you're gonna feel proud to display them because you've worked so hard on them, and they're going to come out beautiful because look at what you're learning, right? See how I'm creating a little I don't know what it is, like a little groove, like, so it looks like there's more dimension to the flower right there. It's not hard to do at all. You just go outside the edge, or close to the edge, and just make it a little bit darker. And then let's take our darker color now, maybe throw some of that in there. Purple gives it a nice and it's very easy to want to go in here with the color, but then you're going to lose the effect of just having it be on the tips. So try not to do that. You want to use the gray when you get in there towards the base, Don't use the color. I put like a little down here once in a while. You can do that. So I'm just taking the white and giving it a nice little blend. See how pretty? That's pretty, huh? Look at how nice. It's already coming out so good. Now we can take if you feel like it needs to be a little bit darker, grab that darker gray, and then you can give it a little bit more depth by adding a little darker, like I say, it just takes patience. That's it. And it's fun layering it anyways. It's, I like doing this. This is so much fun. Oh, please don't forget to hit that button where you gotta like and subscribe, because YouTube changed the way that they do everything now, and so if I gotta keep making these videos, I need to get a lot of likes and subscriptions and stuff. So please, please, please like my video. Tell your friends too, and like if you're in a coloring group or whatever, say, hey, you guys got to check out Lisa's channel, like help promote me and stuff. I'd appreciate that. Now see, also you can, if you want, you can add a little bit of gray up in where the purple is. Okay, well, I'll be quiet now, and I'm just gonna go into my own little world now, and you can watch me. I'll fast forward it maybe too, huh? I'm not sure yet, because that's the part I'm not good at with the video thing. But okay, and the outside tip, right? See, look how pretty! Isn't that gorgeous already? Right, and then when we're done, we can always go back in, and you can go back and add more color to where you think you want more color. You can always go back and add more. Just don't put too much on in the beginning, 'cause that's can be a problem if you do that. I got sorry, I got a little issue over here. I'm trying to oh well, that's fine. Oh well, I was trying to deal with some music, but it was being weird right now, so sorry about that. All right. So I'm just I'm adding again a little bit more dark. I mean, this you could take. But listen, you guys, there's no hurry in trying to get these pictures done. I mean, the whole point is to relax, right? So if it takes you a week to do pictures, so what? If you see that you're starting to get lazy and starting to get tired and messy, then just put it down and then just come back to it later. But the point is just take your time and make it all. What you doing, Justin? Oh. Oh yeah, meatloaf sounds good, doesn't it? I said, yeah, meatloaf sounds kind of good.
You said you're full.
I didn't know. I thought you just said chicken wings, but now that you said meatloaf, I'm
Well,
like,
it's down there.
okay, I might go get some then.
Feels like there's no escape. There are people to lean on.
What the hell happened? The weight of the water is pulling us down. Get the hell out of there. The boat won't fit. Who put this harness on you, okay? Holy what? Wednesday Unbox.
Welcome back to O.J. Simpson, The Lost Confession. Let's listen as O.J. Simpson describes what he did on the night his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ronald Goldman were savagely murdered. Nicole, now 35 years old, made a decision that the unhealthy cycle between her and O.J. had to stop. On May 22nd, 3 weeks before her murder, Nicole returned an expensive birthday gift that O.J. had. I broke up with him. I told him I can't. On June 10th, she went property hunting in Malibu, hoping to put some distance between herself and the man who wouldn't let her go. 2 days later, she would be dead. You are about to hear O.J. Simpson talk about what he did on the day his ex-wife was murdered.
Let's talk about the day of June 12th, 1994.
Yeah.
Tell me about getting ready for your daughter's recital. Just take me through the day.
It was a long week. I had been to 3 or 4 cities that week. I was totally exhausted. My friends in New York tried to get me to stay in New York. That Friday, play golf Saturday, and then go straight to Chicago where I had to be Monday morning. But my daughter was having a recital, and I had already missed, I think the week or two before, I had a lot of time that I missed something. I forget what it was, something that my daughter was having. So I couldn't miss this. So I said, I gotta be there for the recital. And I flew into town, and I just wanted to go there, see my daughter, and leave. And I talked to Nicole briefly, and I actually called and asked if I could get there early and hold seats. And I said, I don't think so. Was she there? And when we got to the recital, she had actually held me a seat with her and the 2 kids, right?
There was something that you write in the book about what Nicole was wearing.
Yeah, it was almost like she was trying to be a teenager again. Dating all these much younger guys, wearing the shortest, tightest things she was wearing, and sometimes you think something's inappropriate, but you don't say anything. What am I to say? Tell her what to do.
Are you recording?
So
No, I mean it's on, but I'm gonna fast forward
I
this.
came up a while ago, but I thought you were recording, so I thought you...
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, trying to give you a kiss.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, I kind of been working on this a little bit here, and I just wanted to show you to see if how yours is coming in or along. So I'm just now just kind of, you know, doing the same thing as I've been doing, you know, as I was teaching you before. Just taking my time on each one and adding the darks and then the lights, and then, you know, going back in again and making any final adjustments to make it as, you know, pretty as I can. So so this is, so now you know about all the colors for that we used to do this one, and I'm gonna write them on here too, so they'll be right here next to this one. And then you'll have this worksheet, so you can just continue to practice and practice, because, you know, that's what is going to do it for you. The more that you color, and that's why instead of doing a whole picture, you know, I made these little worksheets so you can just, you know, just practice just doing just the flowers, and then you'll get so good at it because you've practiced shading and you've done, and you don't have to worry about ruining your pretty book, you know, or whatever. Because I know sometimes when you're coloring, you're like, oh, you know, you get a little that feeling like scared, like, oh no, I don't want to ruin my beautiful book. But by practicing like this on these little papers, you don't really have to worry about any of those things, and all you can do is just enjoy yourself and just practice your techniques, you know, with the shadings and the using the you know, your what kind of pressure to use on your pencils. And plus you're going to get to really know your Prismacolor pencils too, because the more that you do this, the more you're going to know what, you know, what kind of pressure that you like to use and how the colors blend together. And, you know, and you're going to get so used to saying, okay, oh, I know what it looks like when you take the you know, the hot pink and then the Dahlia purple to use as a shade, and then you're going to start knowing what colors to use for shading on your own, where you won't even need these little you know, the little color recipes, because you'll have your own. But you know what, that's not really true, because even now, years and years later of me coloring, I still look at the recipes, because, you know, even though in my head I know you know, what will do what and what colors and different ones, but you know, there's so many color combinations that you do tend to forget, you know, about the different color combinations. And plus when you run into like a little rut, which I mean all artists do, you run into just a little rut where you can't remember, like, okay, well, I don't know what the heck I should do. Should I do this color or this color? But then when you look at your little color sheet, you'll get a little jolt, and it'll say, oh, I think I'm inspired by this color, you know? And then you just go with it and go with that color, and then that might set the whole path for you to make a beautiful picture using, you know, maybe just going off of just that one color that that little palette that you just picked from the book that you might have forgotten about. So, all right, so anyway, so you just go along and work with this, but and you just keep doing that. But look at how pretty that would look, amazing in a picture, wouldn't it? And you could put, obviously, with the greens around there, with the leaves. I'm going to do a whole series on leaves too, so just keep watching, and I will write all the colors that we used on the side here, and then on the next video we'll do a different color. I'm not sure what kind of Dahlia color we'll do, but we'll work on some different kind of color combinations. I should do the middle though, actually. When you're doing the middle of these, you just want to pick I mean, there's so many different ways to do the middle. I'm just going to grab this goldenrod here. Goldenrod is a good color for the middle. Now see, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going in little circles. The reason I'm going in little circles is because I want to leave the white so it has a little texture. And then some places I push a little harder, some places not so harder, you know, and you just, here, I'll go in a little closer so you could see, because sometimes people have a problem with the middles. So just go in little circles, and then, like I say, just in some areas, just push a little harder, and then in other areas, make it a little bit lighter. So goldenrod is a nice color, and then you can use this pumpkin orange maybe as a little. You gotta have it sharp though. That's kind of a thing when you're doing the middle ones, because you wanna And then you could kind of go right where you had where you made those little outlines, where you made it a little darker. You can, just kind of accentuate that, maybe make some more little squigglies, just to give it a little texture. You just don't want to fill it in solid, because that would just not look good. So you just sort of play around with how you did that there, and maybe make it a little bit darker, just towards the bottom here, to give it a little shade. Let's see, just like that, and give it a little shade. And then let's see, and then you go through your palette of colors and say, okay, well, which one's a little bit darker than that? So this one is terracotta, so I'm just going to grab some terracotta and just add a little bit of that little bit darker shade just on the bottom, just to give it that little punch, just to give it like it looks like it's sitting in something. And you can even bring some of that color out a little bit into the flower. Gives it more of a natural look to it, like it's because it's shading. Like it's like that color is reflecting onto the other petals, and just gives them a little bit more natural of a blend. So you can add some in here. See how pretty that looks, just and you just have fun with it and just keep playing around until you are really happy with it. And you can really spend hours on it, and it's just so much fun, especially if you've got some good music on or whatever. But well, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that your picture came out good. And if it didn't, it's not that if it didn't, because I'm sure it's going to be beautiful no matter what, but just if it was something that you think, oh, I can work on it again, that's what these are for. You can just continue to work on it until it's so perfect that you'll be able to just whip these out in no time, and just like a pro, create these awesome masterpieces. So thank you very much. Please like and subscribe to the video. And if you have any comments of things, I love to read the comments. That just really motivates me. I always, they pop up on my screen, and that's the first thing I do is say, yay, somebody wrote me, woohoo! So that excites me. So just have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Oh, by the way, don't forget, on Etsy, on my store on Etsy is where I'm going to have all this available for download. Okay? Thank you. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.